May 2nd, 2013, Deva. From where I camped, I descended onto a flat 2-mile wide valley of farm fields. Low mountains were on the horizon to the north and south. Traffic was light, and I was feeling good. The road took me along the Muirs River and into the city of Deva, which had a dead volcano rising prominently at the edge of town. The volcano's shape created a naturally defensible position, and at the peak of the cone was a medieval stone fortress. Attackers would have to climb 500 feet even before they got to the gate. Now, 750 years after construction, an incline lift ferries people straight to the top, a bold tactic never anticipated by the original builders. In town, I sat on a shaded park bench in front of a life-size statue of the Roman folk hero Decebalus. 1900 years ago, he was the king of this region and led wars of independence against the Roman Empire. The statue showed him as physically imposing, with strong arms and thick legs, leaning on a waist-high shield and carrying a dagger tucked into his belt. Mounted on the concrete base was a large bronze relief showing the founders of Rome, Remus and Romulus, suckling from the teeth of a she-wolf. Decebalus died by suicide when the Romans cornered him after a battle. The monument seemingly honored both their local hero as well as the founders of the society that killed him. On my way out of Deva, I tried to get groceries, but a dozen little boys ran to me as I entered the parking lot. They looked to be between 6 and 10 years old and completely unsupervised. There was no way I was going to leave my bike alone with them. I wouldn't trust myself at that age to not be mischievous just for fun. I stayed for a few minutes while they crowded tightly around me. We tried to talk to each other, but I'm sure I left them with more questions than answers. I biked down the road to a second grocery store and was swarmed by another group of children. Maybe the parents leave them outside while they shop. Again, I carried on without buying any food. I left town and was into the countryside when I passed a shepherd watching a half-dozen sheep. There must be a direct link between the cost of living and the number of animals required to support a person watching them. Here in Romania, the number is 6. In Spain, the shepherds followed more than 50. And in the United States, so many animals are needed that I've never actually seen a shepherd. Instead, they build fences and leave the animals unattended. In the afternoon, I pulled into the shade along a river and found such a pleasant spot that I decided to stay. Among the trees, the temperature is 90 degrees, but I was cooler than being on the open road. Still, I laid in my hammock for hours before I stopped sweating. Once the sun was lower, I took my guitar to the water's edge to practice. I still have no coordination to move my fingers between the strings, and I feel hopeless that I ever will. I strummed up and down, looking out at the river. A few fish were jumping, and frogs swam along the edge. The world is now dark and quiet. All I hear is the sound of the gently flowing river, and a deer barking in the distance.